Esports, welcome back everyone, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that lovely break. I hope the tempests were tucked in, hope the carriers were cuddled. And welcome everyone, welcome to the semifinals of ESL Open Cup Americas number 215. As a reminder, this is a replay broadcast. These events happened last week. We were going to cast this last week as well, like a couple of days after these events took place, but our schedule was really full. Our calendar was really full and we just weren't able to really slot it in, so we're going to be catching up today instead. For those that are curious, ESL Open Cup Americas 216, this week's tournament, which happened yesterday, which happened this week, a couple of days ago, we're going to be casting that tomorrow. We're going to be casting 216 tomorrow as well to catch up back-to-back ESL Americas broadcasts here on the CranKy Ducklings. There we go. Also, a big shout out to then Dariel. I used to call you the and Dariel. Then Dariel, thank you so much for subscribing for 6 months. Oh my god, Papi, thank you so much for subscribing. Hope you had a great time. Hope you've been enjoying your stay here. Half a year of support. Thank you so much. Quack, Papi, quack. As we're getting ready for the semifinals, up first is going to be MaxPax versus Dark, followed by Hero versus Cure, followed by the grand finals, which yet to be determined who makes it to the grand finals. We are here to find out. Game 1 gonna be on Oceanborn. Let's go. Let us go. Now, historically, Dark versus MaxPax has been a very interesting dynamic. Dark, as you know, is wild. He's a very aggressive, very dynamic player in this matchup in ZvP. He can be very difficult to read. He's very in your face, and we'll see if our Protoss can keep up. As spawning in the top left-hand corner of Oceanborn, we have our South Korean Zerg player, the Red Zerg, representing his new team, Talon Esports. It is Dark. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Danish Protoss player, the Blue Protoss, representing Storm Gaming. It is MaxPax. Here we go. As we do have our probe scout being sent out across the map. Dark opening up with a 15-15. We spoke about this before. There are certain players that do nothing but 15-15 openers. Players like Raynor and Shin, they both do it more often than not. That is their standard opener in most matchups. Players like Dark, Solar, Serral, they sprinkle in the 15-15 every now and then. And we do see Dark opening up game 1 with that very opener. For those that are curious, it is slightly inefficient. It is economically inefficient compared to a hatch gas pool, but it is very safe. It allows you to take your natural base on location. It also allows you to get into faster queen production because it's a spawning pool before gas geysers. So faster queen's going to be on the way, and you can be quite greedy with this in the follow-up, in the sense that you could even delay your gases even further. Like, that's the downside of this build, is that because your gases are so late, link speed is really late as well. And there are some players like Dark that go for a faster third. They delay their gases even further, they go for a faster third base, and they go roaches instead. They just skip link speed entirely. We can see we don't rush into a fast third, there's that gas on the way, but we could still decide to skip link speed and go roach. If you are familiar with Dark's playstyle, he's all about roaches in most matchups, so it would not surprise me if he does end up skipping link speed. We'll keep an eye on him. This also means that he can't be as active on the map, and he will have a harder time punishing the third base as well, just because link speed is a little bit later. As gases are being taken. We see back at home, MaxPax, of course, is aware of the opener. He won't be able to disrupt the location of the natural because of the 15 hatch timing. It's that much earlier. And MaxPax should be going for a Stargate into Oracle. I'll be honest, I haven't seen MaxPax really deviate too much outside of this. I haven't seen much of MaxPax going for a Twilight Council opener into like DTs or Glaive Adepts or like 3 base all-ins with Link Stalkers. It's just not really something that we see much from MaxPax. He's very standard with his openers, at least in my experience. So Stargate into Oracle, I wouldn't be surprised if we see this every game. Would not be surprised, but we'll see. We'll keep an eye on him. As Verse Adept is going to be getting across the map. Third base has been taken here by Dark. Queens are in position. We have a couple of Lings on the way to keep up with the Adept. You can see we have pulled out of gas. Ooh, and good movement here by Dark. He does end up catching the Adept. Oh, just barely. The Adept, it looks like it will barely go down. Ooh, a big blow there for MaxPax. Now, it's a bit of a give and take. On the one hand, losing your first Adept usually means that you lose your third, or your third is delayed. Your third base should be delayed from here. But, again, Link speed is still yet to begin. It should be starting up soon, so we have slow Lings moving out. Will this be enough to really deter the third, though? That is the question. As a couple Lings, they do slip into the main. They are being dealt with. Stargate has been spotted. Oracles are moving out across the map. First Oracle does move out. And you can see the Dark, he's stuck here with his Lings. Ling speed just now begins. MaxPax should be able to take his third base without too much issue. But we are going for a Void Ray follow-up. That is interesting. That is very interesting here by MaxPax. So it's going to be only one Oracle to harass. Now, this Void Ray means one thing. It means we deny Overlords. It means Overlords are going to be hunted down, and Dark will have a very hard time scouting what comes next. What comes next could be Glaive Adepts. It could be Sky Toss. We could be rushing into Carriers. The Oracle, ooh, does get 3 drones. Takes a lot of damage, but does escape. But it could be a rush into Carriers. Could be Double Stargate, Mass Phoenix. There could be a lot here behind this, and Dark will have no idea. It could even be standard play. It was a big supply block there for Dark. Oh, it is going to be stuck at that 61 supply for quite some time. 3 Overlords on the way. Again, the Void Ray really caught him off guard. We're trying to saturate that third base. We have a 4th Overlord on the way as well, just to break out of this. A 5th Overlord. Oh my, a laser, is that you? Is that So, a brutal supply block there. Follow-up has been confirmed. Twilight Council on a Forge. Looks like a standard follow-up here by MaxPax. But again, Dark doesn't know. Could be anything. Could be nothing. As behind the Void Ray went for a 2nd Oracle, we can see Dark going into his lair. Around a 5-minute lair timing, pretty standard here. With this lair, we should be seeing a Roach Warren as well. There it is, Roach Warren has been thrown down, and this is lined up for Roach Speed. Once the lair finishes, Roach Speed can begin. Meanwhile, the Adepts have arrived, clearing up some creep. Link Speed finally kicks in for Dark, so he can keep up with the Adepts. Won't allow them to shade in. We spoke about the standard follow-up, there it is, +1 on Blink. Nothing too crazy. We'll keep an eye on the gateway count. It should be staying relatively low to expand into a 4th base. If we go for a gateway explosion, we'll keep an eye on that as well. As MaxPax gets on top of the 4th base, forces a cancel. Who does deny the 4th here, even threatening shades towards a 3rd. Dark stuck on 3 bases. As he does just take his additional gases. Should be working towards +1 range here at his natural, towards Roach Speed. Towards the rest of our upgrades. So far, MaxPax doing a good job here at containing his opponents. You can see he's got a Void Ray towards the left, he's got his Adepts on the right-hand side, and we just cannot expand! We're trying to! But the bases are being shut down. Dark perpetually stuck on 3 bases, working on +1 melee, not range, so he's going for a Ling Bane Roach Ravager, not pure Roach. Creep is being spread. Another big supply block, that is 6 more Overlords! Ay, ay, ay. 2 big supply blocks so far by Dark, and it looks like Dark should be cutting workers. We have 69 drones, nice. We're working on another 4th, but I would not be surprised if we just cut worker production and focus on roaches for now. Creep is spreading through the center. MaxPax still on 3 bases. He's going for a gateway explosion himself. 8 gates. He's going for a +1 8 gate Blink Stalkers here on 3 bases. Very aggressive and very safe as well. If MaxPax was going for a 4th, which Dark is looking for, by the way, then Dark, it could trigger Dark to go for an all-in, and MaxPax could be in some trouble. But Dark is droning. He's droning on up behind this, checking for a 4th base. And again, MaxPax is doubling down here on 3 base play. The Prism has arrived. We push on forward. We catch some of the Lings. And MaxPax is pushing. He's expanding behind the move out. But again, he can warp in 8 Stalkers at a time. That's a lot of Stalkers. And our goal, deny the 4th again. Deny the 4th once again. As we head in that direction, we have a little bit of creep here. Dark getting in position. Oh my god. The Stalkers are coming. There it is, 8 Stalkers at a time. We do push in. Dark trying to come in for a surround. Good stasis, good force field as well. We clean up some of those things. The roaches, oh, barely not getting on top of the army either. And again, Dark cannot give up this position. If he does, that's going to be a killed fourth. And it's already late. His fourth is already late. He has to hold. Again, behind this, MaxPax with a delayed fourth. And I believe Dark does not have eyes yet. He doesn't have eyes on it. Oracles come in. Kill some workers. Lings, they're thinking of a counterattack. There we go. Baneling's on the way. Dark amassing his army. We can see MaxPax, he did rotate back around. He's back at home. He's in position to defend. Expecting Dark to be harassing the fourth. So good read here by MaxPax. Really good map awareness. Really good game sense. Bailing speed is kicking in. Can Dark collapse on this? Archon's on the way. Yeah, Ling Bane rolling on forward. We do end up catching the sentry, and we get into the middle line. The drones, the Banelings, they try to bust on through, and they will. They annihilate the middle line. Every probe going to be going down. 16 dead workers. Again, MaxPax, he did a great job containing his opponent, but that's going to be a kill on the third. Good pick off there by Dark. Kills the third base at the same time. Ooh, his fifth is being harassed. Reinforcements have arrived. We collapse here on the Stalkers. Oof. They will be forced back. Meanwhile, was that a kill? No, cancel. That was a cancel on the fifth. This Void Ray has done a lot. The supply blocks, the denied bases. Very valuable fourth. Meanwhile, oh god, the Overlords! We were already supply blocked, and 3 Overlords go down for free. We're gonna get a fourth, and that will supply block Dark. Wow, for the third time this game, 5 Overlords on the way. 6 Overlords even. And this is gonna keep Dark at bay. This is gonna allow MaxPax to stabilize here at his fourth. Rebuilding his third. Do we have Storm? We do. Storm is done. High Templar in position. MaxPax can take a fight. Dark, though, again, he's going to be looking to try and get into that mineral line once again with those Banelings. Storms are thrown down. Ooh, big storms on the Banelings, but they do get in. Banelings, they roll on in, and they will barely connect with the High Templar. They get one, but the workers escape. The workers, they do evacuate. Lings are in position to deny them. They pick up some transferring workers. 4 probes go down. Not amazing, but damage is dealt. Ooh, at the same time, though, a big stellar counterattack. MaxPax loses 4 workers, but he kills 4 drones across the map. And Dark, his economy is still very low. Why is it low? The supply blocks and the denied fit. Like, we just keep denying bases over and over again. Dark does not have the best economy. He hasn't lost a lot of drones, he just hasn't been able to make them. As he's now taking up into a hive. Infestation Pit now on the way. It's quite late. I imagine the Infestation Pit is late because Dark assumed he would have been able to kill his opponent by now, or at least cripple him. He has done damage, but MaxPax, he has a comparable economy to Dark. Only down 6 workers. He still has his 4th up and running. The 3rd back up and running as well. We get another Overlord, this time not supply blocking Dark, thankfully. Hydrogen finishing up. Hive on the way. This should be for Hydra Lurker Viper. This should be for Lurker Tech as up. The Prism will barely escape. Barely does slip away. There's that Lurker Den now in production. Again, it's lined up with the Hive just so we can start up those Lurker upgrades. But the constant Zenith Harass, even though it's not doing a lot of damage, what it is doing is keeping Dark busy, allowing MaxPax to close that supply, to catch back up in the army. You can see that now MaxPax only down 20 supply, and he has a more efficient army. I would, in a head-to-head fight, I would favor MaxPax right now. But Dark shouldn't be fighting. He shouldn't be fighting because he's waiting for lurkers. Like, it'd be an anti-timing if we were to attack now. But this does mean that MaxPax is free to stabilize. Now he's refining himself. He's working on +3 attack, working on a 2nd forge for upgrades, for armor and shield upgrades. And from here, we may even work towards something like Sky Toss. I think it's too risky. I would like to see a 2nd Robo in a Bay and Disruptor production instead. Disruptors would be ideal, but I know MaxPax, he has his thoughts on the new Disruptor. He not too fond of it. Specifically because it does cost more supply nowadays in the new patch. MaxPax hasn't been as fun. StarCraft going off, connecting with the Banelings. Gonna be just relying on Immortals for the time being. Zealot run by on the right hand side. Lurker production has commenced here for Dark. So you see Dark trying to collapse on this. Oh. So far, not able to catch the Archons. They do survive. MaxPax going to be committing. At the same time, Prism dropping to the main is shut down. But the Zealots, they get 7 drones here at the 4th. Good damage dealt here by MaxPax. Pushing in the left-hand side. But the Lurkers are getting in position. Yeah, the Lurkers have arrived. Dark has been able to survive long enough to get into them. Now he can hold. Yeah, Lurkers are revealed. Big lane counterattack here right through the center. And going for the 3rd base. We do have some cannons and shield batteries, but we go right for the site defense. MaxPax doesn't turn around. Is committing. Lurkers out of position, by the way. Big piles. Big piles, but the Lurkers, they cut off. They're so exposed, and all 3 Lurkers will go down. Big pick off. We get 3 Lurkers. We get the 5th base at the same time. But Zealot round by here on the right-hand side does run into the army. Does get cleaned up. But Dark, how many Lurkers does he have left? 0. He has 1 Lurker on the way. Without Lurkers, how do we defend against this? We don't. Lings are being cleaned up by reinforcements. And again, not enough Lurkers here back at home. We have 2 more on the way. MaxPax pulls back for a moment. Yeah, there it is. GG gets called. It's just too much, and MaxPax takes game number 1. GG. A solid game there out of MaxPax. A very solid game. Again, the early game, he was in control. Dark just wasn't really able to be aggressive whatsoever. And the supply blocks were brutal. They were at pretty crucial times as well. Remember, there was a supply block just as Dark wanted to focus on 3-base saturation and move out with his roaches. Did deter that. Once again, it occurred when Dark was when he was trying to break the 3rd. He did break the 3rd base, but again, there was a big supply block before that, so he could have been even more aggressive and more assertive. And the 3rd supply block was when he was trying to max out. He was stuck at like 175-ish supply for a while there. They were pretty impactful there, just because of how aggressive Dark was being and how roach heavy he was. So he was slowed down, and MaxPax takes a lead in the series. And now we're going to be getting into game number 2. Also, I love how safe MaxPax was playing. Remember, I feel like against another Zerg player or given another Protoss, we would have seen a faster 4th. But remember, MaxPax, he intentionally did delay his 4th base, going up to 8 gateways with his Blink Stalkers and just focusing on his army production first. I do really like that against Dark, just because Dark is a very aggressive player. If his opponent is playing standard or more economic, then Dark punishes it so hard. But MaxPax, again, he was playing very safe. Very reserved with his economy, and was able to keep up and even punish Dark at times. So very nice stuff there. And here we go, we're getting into game number 2, and spawning in the bottom left hand corner of Hecate, we have our South Korean Zerg player, the Red Zerg representing Talon Esports. It is Dark. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Danish Protoss player, the Blue Protoss representing Storm Gaming. It is MaxPax. Here we go. That's where we are going to be settling in. Anyone have any insight on the pool placement? Where was the pool placed? Hold on. I'm running it back a little bit. Yeah, that was a really interesting pool placement in game 1. Here it makes more sense. There are certain rules when it comes to pool placement here in this matchup, as we're settling into this. And oh wait, before I get too ahead of myself here. Okay, hatch gas pool. Hatch gas pool opening here by Dark. This time, no 15-15. I do like this more. Even though 15-15s are very safe, the downside of a 15-15 opener is how late your link speed is, as we saw, and it means that you can't be as aggressive or assertive. You can't apply pressure to the 3rd base. Remember, MaxPax, he lost his first adept really early on, immediately, actually. He lost his first Adept. And Dark couldn't do anything. He couldn't punish the fact that the Adept died. So MaxPax, he wasn't really punished for it. He could take his third base freely and get into his game. So even though Dark is forced to expand into a really awkward position, it does mean, though, that he can be more assertive here with his Lings. So there's a bit of a give and take as we settle into game number 2. But yeah, some of the, like, quote-unquote rules of pool placement is to have it further back here, just to keep it safe against, like, harass here at the ledge, like Void Ray openers and stuff like that. But in game 1, it was actually further out there, which was kind of crazy. I'm curious as well as to the rationale behind that. As this makes more sense in my eyes. So we have our first Adept going to be moving out. Once again, a Stargate opener. As we mentioned before, this should be an Oracle-based opener from MaxPax. But as we saw in game number 1, clearly MaxPax, he's willing to really shake up his openers and even go into a Void Ray after the first Oracle. Ooh, as 2 drones go down. Big pickups here with the first Adept. That should not have happened. 2 workers falling, but we do get a kill. Oh, on the Adept. So was that worth it? It was a good trade if the Adept would have survived. But with the Adept going down, once Ling Speed finishes, Dark can move out. He only has a handful of Lings, though. He's redroning. Okay. Dark, he's redroning. He's not making any further Ling production. MaxPax forced to warp in another Adept to replace the one that he lost. And he is, of course, going for that first Oracle. Going for a second Oracle behind it. Okay, so this time, a much more standard opener here by MaxPax, going into double and then triple Oracle. We'll be waiting a little bit here, but there we go. Third base is now being taken. Ooh, a little bit of miscontrol there out of MaxPax, wasting energy on those rocks. You can see the Lings getting in position. Dark looking for that third, hoping to shut it down. But so far, good SimCity. Good SimCity here. The Adept is in position. Second Oracle does arrive. Lings, they apply a bit of pressure here. They go straight for the Adept, actually. The Oracle has to turn back around and will clean this up, but not before the Adept goes down. Good pick up there by Dark. Meanwhile, the Oracle does get across the map into the natural, getting 2 drones. Getting a third drone in the main. And only taking a little bit of hull damage before being forced out. So, pretty good start here by MaxPax. He's been able to kill 5 drones so far. Lost a couple of Adepts, that's true. But overall, he's just chilling back at home anyway. The Oracles are amassing. Now up to 2 Oracles. Dark going for his lair. A little bit of an earlier lair this time. This was around a 4 minutes 45-ish lair timing. Curious. Gases are being taken. Going to be taking 3 gases in total so far. Still just focusing on droning. No Roach Warren. We should have seen a Roach Warren by now. Ooh, as we get another 2 drones. And yeah, there we go. We see why. Overlord Speed is on the way. This should be for an all-in. Lings are amassing. So Overlord Speed is going to be for Dropper Lords, and we are going to be sending our queens across the map. There it is. 18 Lings on the way. Dark, he's going to be sending it. And MaxPax needs to get that read. Again, this explains why the lair was earlier than normal. Again, it was around the 4-minute 40 mark. Earlier lair, no Roach Warren. Oracle's trying to get a read on what's happening. Dropper Lords are on the way. They're finishing up here at the third base location. And Dark, he's just sending it across the map. Back at home. Shield battery is in production. We still don't fully understand what's happening here. We still don't fully read it. Oracles, they move in. They should notice the lack of queens. They see the drones. They see how exposed it is. Drone's going to be going down. We do annihilate the economy here of Dark, forcing him even further all in. He gets across the map. Shield battery not done. Stalkers are going down. Yeah, Stalkers are falling. We force a recall back home. That's a lot of dead Stalkers already. Shield battery does finish in time. Overcharge is popped. But can we break MaxPax? Can we break the third base? Voids are being pulled. Stalkers stuck in an awkward position. 18 probes go down. But we are holding. Lings are falling. Baneling's on the way. We take down the Oracles. We're waddling in. Ooh, and the boys, they get pulled into the Maylings. And it looks like this third base should go down. The third base should fall here. It has been broken. Stalkers are going down left and right. The Nexus itself under fire. Now, killing the third is not enough. Dark, he's on 36 drones. Remember, he lost a lot of workers here across the map. He needs to do more. Kills 21 probes. Fun fact, despite killing 21 workers, MaxPax is still ahead. He's still ahead in economy. Still ahead in workers. We see Dark spreading creep here at the third. Racing back home, and he's redroning. Meanwhile, MaxPax did keep he kept 2 of his oracles alive, and he can counterattack. Does move out across the map. Reddens the drones, and he will pick off more of them. Ooh, 3, 4 drones going to be going down. Very nice damage here by MaxPax. The Queens, they just now arrived. And Dark is in a rough position, actually. So he's behind in workers, behind in economy. He's just now working on his tech, Roach Warren, and Evo Chamber. Meanwhile, MaxPax already has +1, and he has a good gateway count here, or a decent enough gateway count to sustain himself. He's moving out with his Stalkers, he has Oracles to support, he has a Prism as well. Dark is in trouble. Like, that all-in was meant to end the game. Killing the third, not good enough. Oh boy. Or it had to do more critical damage. Stalkers have arrived. +1 melee on the way. Queens are in position. We do have a good concave. How good is the stasis going to be? As the Evo Chamber's under fire. Roaches are amassing, but again, they're going to be slow roaches. The lanes, they go for the surround. They collapse here on the Stalkers. Good blinks here by MaxPax. Not the best stasis, only getting 2 lings. But the Stalkers, they do so much damage. They shave off so many lings here. That Evo Chamber is going to go down. Yeah, we lose control of the third base. Dark has to back up. Evo Chamber has been killed. The hatchery thereafter. Dark getting knocked down to 2 bases. He is taking his 4th, now his 3rd. But Dark, he's falling further behind here. As MaxPax can keep on pushing. Oof. Dark trying to hold on with his Ravagers. He has a lot of Queens to transfuse. He could maybe take a fight here if these Biles do connect. And some of them do. But from here, MaxPax, he could back off and rotate around, or he could just keep on pushing. And he's feeling confident. I mean, he hasn't lost too much here in this fight. 14 Stalkers overall, that is true. But again, he's gaining ground. Biles, oh, they do connect. Some brutal Biles there. Meanwhile, the Oracles are coming from behind. No Spore Crawler in position. Drones are going down. Dark knocked down to a 2-base economy. The hatchery just there for Larva at this point. He's down to 42 workers. Not like this. Meanwhile, MaxPax, he has +2. He has +3 on the way. The upgrades are insane. MaxPax +2 against the 0-0 of Dark. Yeah, Queens are getting picked up. Oracles, they come in once again, forcing the Queens back, forcing them away from the fight. And you can see that MaxPax, he's snowballing out of control here in terms of the supply. Just trading too efficiently with these Stalkers. And Dark, he's just barely holding on with the Roach Ravager. He's surviving, but he's not really living here. Again, he just doesn't have enough to sustain himself. The trades are too brutal. Oof. Lings are going down. And there it is. GG gets called. Not even a final fight, as the writing is on the wall. And MaxPax takes the series 2-0, advancing on to the grand finals. GG. Very well done here by MaxPax, and I personally really love how MaxPax played game 1. Historically, MaxPax has struggled against Dark, specifically Dark. The reason for this is because MaxPax can do really well against more standard Zerg players, like Solar, for example, or even Raynor. Raynor, he's a little bit more like in the middle when it comes to like aggression and macro. But against Dark, because Dark he's so assertive, MaxPax can have a hard time keeping up with him. But game 1, it was the opposite. Game 1, Dark opened up safely, and MaxPax was the one in control. MaxPax was the one going for like different twists and turns, going for the Void Ray follow-up, going for the 8 Gateling Stalkers. I really did love how MaxPax played game 1. Here in game 2 was a little bit of a different dynamic. As we saw, it was Dark going for the all-in. MaxPax didn't see the all-in coming, but something very important that occurred was that as the all-in was underway, MaxPax happened to be going in with his oracles, and he killed half a mineral line. What was it? 8 or 9 drone kills, right? That was important. He was able to kill a lot of workers as the all-in was happening, which crippled the economy, which meant that even as Dark was killing the third, because he had lost so many drones at his own third base, it wasn't enough. It was not enough at all. He dealt a lot of damage, but Dark was still behind. He was still behind, he was still that much more all-in, and MaxPax was able to snowball out of control from there. GG, well played. MaxPax is our first player to advance on to the grand finals, and now we're getting into our second semis of the evening, into a PvT Hero versus Cure.